Welcome, curious minds, to The Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey to a country renowned for its sun-drenched landscapes, its vibrant culture, and, well, an undeniable allure that beckons people from all across the globe. Portugal.
Mm,
It's a
mm.
place many dream of visiting, maybe even calling home. And as we're about to uncover, that generous, inviting climate isn't just perfect for, lazy days on the beach.
hmm
It's rapidly transforming Portugal into a global leader in something truly empowering: residential solar energy.
That's absolutely right. When you picture Portugal, you almost instinctively imagine bright, consistent sunshine. And that very natural advantage makes it an extraordinarily fertile ground for harnessing solar power.
Yeah.
So we're dedicating this deep dive to installing solar panels in Portugal. Our aim is really to show you that this isn't just an eco-conscious choice, though it certainly is that it's a genuinely intelligent long-term financial and lifestyle decision.
Right.
So whether you're maybe considering a big move or perhaps planning a significant home renovation, or maybe you're just seeking to dramatically boost your energy efficiency and independence in this beautiful country, well, this deep dive is crafted specifically for you.
Our mission today really is to give you the ultimate shortcut to becoming well-informed on this whole topic. We'll unpack everything from, the fundamental types of solar panels available to the surprisingly straightforward legal frameworks that govern installation, right through to the actual costs you might expect, and a detailed step-by-step guide to the entire process.
Exactly.
So whether you're an expat meticulously planning your relocation, or maybe an investor strategically eyeing a renovation project for maximum return, or perhaps a pensioner prioritizing long-term savings and energy independence, this deep dive will equip you with the essential knowledge you need.
And it's important to mention, every single insight we'll share today is meticulously grounded in a comprehensive, authoritative source. Installing solar panels in Portugal, a comprehensive guide. This detailed resource really serves as the bedrock for our entire discussion, making sure you receive accurate, up-to-date, and practical information.
Okay, great. So let's jump right in and explore maybe the most compelling yet often underestimated advantage of going solar in Portugal. Its phenomenal climate.
It's more than just sunny days, isn't it?
Oh, it's profoundly more than just sunny days. The source doesn't just suggest it. It explicitly calls Portugal the best country in Europe for solar electricity.
Oh, okay.
It even goes further, stating it's the best place on the European continent to use solar panels because of its weather. Now, this isn't just anecdotal. It speaks to something technically known as consistent solar irradiance.
Irradiance, right. What that means for you, essentially, is fewer cloudy or overcast days that would significantly dip production. Instead, Portugal offers consistent warmth and abundant sunshine hours year-round, and that directly translates into higher, more predictable, and ultimately more reliable solar energy production compared to many other European nations.
So it's like having a steady income stream from your roof, almost.
Kind of, yeah. It minimizes those volatile peaks and troughs you might experience elsewhere. It's remarkably steady.
That consistent, generous sunshine really is a game changer then. It means your significant investment in solar panels will just be working harder, more reliably, producing consistent output throughout the year. But beyond just the obvious environmental benefits, which are fantastic, of course, who exactly is finding this prospect particularly appealing in Portugal right now?
Well, the guide highlights its incredibly broad appeal. It presents solar installation in Portugal as an inexpensive option, relative term, but inexpensive for a truly diverse audience. Think about expats, for instance, who are looking to relocate and maybe establish a new sustainable lifestyle.
For them, solar isn't just about going green. It's about embedding a future of reduced living costs and self-sufficiency right from the very start.
Makes sense.
Then you've got investors planning home renovations. For them, solar adds significant, tangible value and efficiency to their properties. It makes them far more attractive in a competitive market.
Right, a real selling point.
Exactly. And finally, pensioners, who are often prioritizing long-term cost savings, financial security, and, importantly, energy independence in their retirement. The beauty here is that it's genuinely accessible and profoundly beneficial for a wide spectrum of residents and potential residents, regardless of their primary motivation.
So it's not just about reducing your carbon footprint, which, as you said, is an excellent goal in itself. It's fundamentally about some very tangible benefits that directly impact your wallet and the value of your property. What are these core benefits that the guide really emphasizes?
Well, the primary and most immediately felt benefit, naturally, is cutting your electricity bills. The big one.
The big one. Imagine slashing your monthly energy outgoings, maybe even turning unpredictable utility bills into predictable, manageable savings, or sometimes even a credit. In a world where energy costs can fluctuate wildly, having a significant portion or even all of your electricity generated right on your own roof offers incredible financial stability and peace of mind.
Definitely.
But beyond that, it fosters genuine energy independence. It transforms you into, as the guide puts it, an independent individual who isn't solely reliant on the public grid for all their power needs. This level of autonomy is increasingly appealing, giving you greater control over your energy destiny.
And then there's the property aspect, which I find particularly interesting. It's not just about making your home greener, it's about making it demonstrably more valuable. How does solar achieve that?
Absolutely. The source makes a very strong statement here. It says that solar power makes you the proud possessor of an asset-rich property.
Asset-rich, okay.
Yeah, it highlights how installing solar panels isn't just an ongoing expense reduction. It's a significant improvement that actively contributes to your home's market value.
Like a tangible upgrade.
Exactly. Think of it like a new kitchen or a renovated bathroom, but one that actively saves money and potentially generates income. Prospective buyers are often willing to pay a premium for properties that already have these efficiency upgrades in place, especially with the persistent rise in energy costs across Europe.
That's a good point.
It's a visible, tangible improvement that pays dividends both in utility savings and in the competitive edge it gives your property on the market.
That's a huge point for anyone looking at long-term investment or just simple peace of mind. It sounds like a truly advantageous setup, a win-win on several fronts. But to make this dream a widespread reality, it needs more than just good weather and personal desire, right?
Yeah.
How supportive is the system in Portugal for making this happen? Is the government actively helping homeowners take this leap?
They are, very much so. The guide emphasizes the crucial role played by financial support from the Portuguese government and also the leverage of substantial EU recovery funds.
Wow, the EU funds.
Yes. These two factors are absolutely critical because they significantly reduce the initial financial barrier. They make the entire installation process more accessible than ever. Government incentives, often things like grants, subsidies, or attractive tax breaks, combined with broader European Union funding, specifically designed to accelerate green energy transitions, means that the upfront cost is, well, softened considerably.
Okay.
This unique combination of abundant natural resources and robust, forward-thinking policy support truly creates an exceptionally fertile ground for solar investment in Portugal. It really sets it apart from many other regions.
So it's not just a good idea privately, it's strategically and financially encouraged by the powers that be.
Precisely. It creates a powerful momentum for adoption.
That synergy between Portugal's natural gifts and supportive government policy seems to be the sweet spot, creating what truly sounds like a, well, perfect storm for solar. It makes the prospect incredibly appealing. But if someone is now convinced and thinking, okay, I want to do this, let's talk about the actual hardware. We know not all panels are created equal, right? How does one choose?
That's a really vital point to understand before you commit, your resources. The guide is very clear. Not every panel is made equally. Making an informed choice about the right type is absolutely crucial for optimizing your results, whether that's measured in maximum efficiency from limited space, or maybe the lowest upfront costs or suitability for a specific application.
Right.
So let's really break down the main categories so you can understand their pros and cons properly.
Okay, let's start with what sounds like the premium option, the monocrystalline panels. What makes them stand out?
Monocrystalline panels are, as the guide puts it, strictly technically speaking, your best option. They are considerably more efficient than the others, between 15% and 25% more. What that really translates to for you, the homeowner, is they can generate more electricity from a smaller footprint.
Ah, so good for smaller roofs.
Exactly. A massive advantage if you have limited roof space but still want to maximize your power output. The trade-off, and there's usually one, is that they are much more expensive upfront.
Right.
However, if you do have the financial means, their impressive durability, estimated at more than 30 years, coupled with their inherently high efficiency, well, it can prove massively advantageous in the future. They'll be reliably producing clean power for decades.
It's a long-term investment then.
It really is an investment that keeps on giving.
So a higher initial cost, but a longer, more efficient payoff, especially where space is tight. But are there scenarios where maybe that higher upfront cost might not make as much sense for a homeowner?
That's a very fair question. While their efficiency and longevity are superb, If you have an extremely large roof area with absolutely no space constraints and maybe your budget is very tight,
Mm.
you might find that a larger array of less expensive panels could potentially meet your energy needs for a lower initial outlay, even if their individual efficiency is lower. Also, maybe if you know you'll only be in the property for a very short period, say 5 years or less, the full long-term financial benefits of the monocrystalline's durability might not fully materialize for you personally.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about matching it to your situation.
Always matching the technology to your specific circumstances and your timeline.
Okay. Now, what about their less successful younger sibling, as the guide calls them, the polycrystalline panels? What's their story?
Yes, the polycrystalline panels. So, unlike monocrystalline, which are meticulously crafted from a single pure silicon crystal, polycrystalline panels are made of multiple less pure silicon crystals like copper and iron.
Multiple crystals. Okay.
This multi-crystal composition is what gives them that characteristic, slightly mottled bluish appearance you sometimes see. The main downside of this difference in purity in manufacturing is that it results in significantly lower efficiency. Typically, they hover around 15%, which is kind of at the lower end of the efficiency spectrum for common solar panels.
So inherently, they take up more space for the same energy output. What's their main appeal then, if it's not peak efficiency? And how do they handle Portugal's hot summers? That seems important.
Their main appeal, without a doubt, is cost. They're significantly cheaper per watt, which the guide rightly notes as a definite plus for budget-conscious buyers.
Okay.
However, that lower cost comes with important considerations. The guide mentions loss of efficiency and high sensitivity to high temperatures make polycrystalline less reliable.
Less reliable in heat.
Yeah, this is particularly relevant for Portugal's hot summers. While all panels experience some minor efficiency loss in extreme heat, polycrystalline panels can be more noticeably affected. So, on the very hottest days, their performance might degrade more than, say, a monocrystalline panel. This impacts their overall long-term output and might mean you need a slightly larger array to compensate.
So cheaper, but maybe not the best for consistent heat.
Potentially, yes. While more affordable, they might not be the most robust choice if you're aiming to maximize energy harvest in a consistently hot climate.
That really highlights the importance of matching the panel to the environment. Now let's look at something a bit more innovative, like bifacial panels. They sound intriguing, almost futuristic.
Bifacial panels are indeed unique and actually quite clever in their design. As the name suggests, they have two cell faces.
Two-faced.
Yes. The traditional upper face captures direct sunlight, just like any other panel, maximizing that direct exposure. But what really sets them apart is their lower face, which is also active. It captures indirect radiation that's reflected by the area the panel occupies.
Reflected light, like off the roof.
Exactly. Imagine sunlight bouncing off a light-colored reflective roof, or maybe off a patio or the ground beneath an elevated installation. The lower face captures that reflected light. Essentially, the panel gets to double dip on the available sunlight.
So they're effectively getting light from both sides. Does that significantly boost their performance? And where do they work best?
Potentially, yes, and this is where their efficiency factor gets really interesting. Their overall efficiency depends directly on the reflective capacity of this said area beneath them.
Ah,
So if they're installed over a highly reflective surface, think a bright white roof, maybe a light-colored gravel area, or even water, they can be highly efficient because they're absorbing light effectively from both sides. This makes them particularly interesting for specific architectural designs, elevated installations, or maybe ground-mounted arrays where you can optimize that reflective surface.
so a bit more thought needed for placement.
Definitely. But the payoff can be substantial in the right setting.
That's a really ingenious way to maximize energy capture. What about panels designed for different aesthetic or structural needs, like thin film panels?
Thin film panels are quite distinct in their physical characteristics. They're described as lightweight and visually flexible.
Flexible.
Well, more flexible than rigid crystalline panels. This makes them highly suitable for large areas or building integrated architectural applications, where traditional rigid, heavy panels might not fit or just wouldn't look right aesthetically. Imagine them integrated directly into roofing materials, or maybe skylights, or even flexible surfaces on more unconventional structures.
So it sounds like they're more about versatility and seamless integration than raw power output.
Exactly. Their primary limitations are their lower efficiency, typically 7%, 10%, and also a shorter lifespan, approximately 15 years, compared to the crystalline silicon panels we discussed.
Right.
Because of these factors, the guide states they are most appropriate for special purposes. You wouldn't typically choose them for a standard residential roof installation if maximizing energy production per square meter is your main goal.
Okay.
But they're excellent for niche applications where those unique physical properties are really paramount.
It certainly sounds like each type has its specific niche and ideal application. What about hybrid panels? The name suggests they do more than one thing.
Hybrid panels are truly fascinating because they offer a definitive plus. They work as both a solar and thermal panel.
Solar and thermal.
Yes. This means they're not just generating electricity from sunlight, that's the photovoltaic part, they're simultaneously capturing solar energy to heat water,
Ooh.
often for domestic use like showers, heating, or maybe even swimming pools. This dual functionality can be incredibly efficient for a household, really making the most of every ray of sun.
So you're getting both power and hot water from the same installation. That sounds incredibly efficient, especially for a home looking to maximize self-sufficiency.
It really is. The guide notes that during summer, this is the most efficient type of panel for this combined function, making it ideal for Portugal's warm climate and, high hot water demands in summer. They are also described as very durable and resistant, ensuring a long lifespan for this multifunctional investment.
But I sense a but coming.
Well, much like the monocrystalline panels, its efficiency makes it more expensive. So again, it's a higher upfront cost, but for a highly efficient and exceptionally multifunctional solution. It appeals to those who really want to maximize energy self-sufficiency for both their electricity and their hot water needs from a single system.
Got it. And then there's a specific clarification in the guide about solar thermal panels. It seems they want to make a very clear distinction here.
This is an important distinction to make, yes, because these can't be considered solar photovoltaic since they are not made up of solar cells and only produce heat.
Ah, only heat, no electricity.
Correct. They don't generate electricity. Instead, they use sunlight to heat a fluid, usually water, or an antifreeze mixture, which then transfers that heat to water for domestic use, space heating, or other applications. They are definitely part of the broader solar family, but specifically for heat production, not electricity generation.
Okay.
The guide outlines 3 types of solar thermal collectors based on their temperature capacities and applications.
Okay, what are those 3 distinct types then?
First, you have the low temperature collector. These are designed to withstand temperatures of up to 50 degrees. They're the most common type you'd find in homes, typically used to provide supplementary energy and heat water for everyday domestic use like your shower or sink.
Standard home use.
Exactly. Then there's the medium temperature collector, which can handle higher temperatures up to 90 C. These are engineered to minimize heat loss, making them more efficient for certain applications where higher temperatures are consistently needed.
Okay.
And finally, there's the high temperature collector. This type features 2 covers over the converter and can operate at very high temperatures, up to 150 degrees C. The guide notes that this last type is not common in homes. It's more for specialized industrial scale, high temperature applications.
Right, not your average rooftop system. That's a really crucial distinction. It helps clarify what solar means in these different contexts, electricity versus heat. Stops people getting confused.
Absolutely.
So with all these different alternatives laid out, it really comes down to a personalized choice for the homeowner, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's no single best panel for everyone.
Precisely. The guide concludes this section by powerfully emphasizing how these diverse alternatives enable you to choose the solar installation that is the most optimal for your energy needs, your finances, and your property ambitions. It's all about tailoring the technology to your specific situation, whether you're an expatriate setting up a new life with an eye on long-term costs, maybe an investor renovating for maximum market appeal, or perhaps a retiree looking for unwavering long-term efficiency. Each panel type has its unique strengths, and understanding them empowers you to make a truly informed decision that aligns perfectly with your individual goals.
That brings us quite neatly to our next major section, navigating the Portuguese solar legal landscape. Because it's not just about picking the right panel, is it? There are rules, regulations, And a structured process to consider.
Indeed. And thankfully, Portugal has actually worked quite hard to streamline this process. The first key term you need to understand is Unidad Produção para Autoconsumo,
Or
UPAC
sure,
short.
UPAC.
This is the official legal term for self-consumption systems in Portugal. Think of UPAC as Portugal's official stamp for homeowners producing their own power. It's the legal category that defines you as a self-sufficient energy producer, and it's key to accessing all the benefits we're discussing. The entire legal framework governing the installation and registration of these solar panels has been significantly streamlined by a specific law. Decree Law Number 15/2022.
Okay.
This decree has been really instrumental in simplifying the process, making it vastly more accessible for homeowners and reducing a lot of the bureaucratic hurdles that might have existed before.
So it sounds like Portugal has actively tried to make this easier, which really fits with their broader support for solar energy. What are the different system categories, especially as of 2025, and what does each one mean for the homeowner in terms of paperwork?
Right. The categories are defined by the system's power capacity, measured in watts or kilowatts. And they dictate the level of administrative burden, which, as you'll see, is designed to be pretty minimal for most residential setups. For the smallest systems, up to 700 W, no registration needed.
Not at all.
None at all. This is incredibly straightforward. It's essentially a true plug-and-play approach, perfect for very small installations, maybe a few panels on a shed or a detached garage, or for a home with very low electricity consumption. It's designed to be as simple as buying and installing, say, an appliance.
Wow, that sounds almost too easy. A genuine plug-and-play for small setups. What about something more typical for a residential home, like a standard family dwelling?
Okay, for systems ranging from 700 W up to 30 kilowatts, which is where most residential installations fall, only a prior notification to DGEG is required. DGEG stands for Direção Geral de Energia e Geologia. That's the Directorate General for Energy and Geology. Now, this prior notification isn't some lengthy application or complex approval process. Your installer typically fills out a straightforward online form through something called the Portal SIRUP. That's Portugal's dedicated online platform for energy installations, simply notifying the DGG that your system is going in.
So just telling them, basically.
Pretty much. It's designed to be quick and involve minimal bureaucracy. It's more of a formality compared to needing full licensing.
Okay, still remarkably low friction for the majority of residential users. That's a huge relief for anyone, maybe navigating a new country's bureaucracy.
Definitely.
What happens when you scale up beyond that 30 kilowatts? And even with the simplified process, are there common bureaucratic snags or maybe unexpected delays homeowners should still prepare for?
Well, while the process has been streamlined, it's always wise to anticipate maybe minor delays, mostly stemming from coordination between different entities. For instance, sometimes just scheduling the e-reads, that's the grid operator, to come and install the smart meter can take a few weeks. That isn't necessarily the installer's fault, but it can prolong the final connection time.
Right.
And while the notification itself is simple, just ensuring all your personal and property documents are perfectly in order, your NIF, tax number, property registration, things like that can prevent minor administrative hiccups down the line.
So small speed bumps, maybe, rather than roadblocks.
Exactly. Small speed bumps to be aware of. Now, once you move into the 30 kilowatt to 1 milliW range, the requirements do increase. Systems in this category require registration and an operating certificate. This signifies a higher level of oversight, ensuring these larger installations meet specific technical and safety standards before they become operational, given their greater potential impact.
Makes sense.
And then for the very largest systems, above 1 milliW, these are subject to full licensing and capacity allocation on the public grid, RESP. RESP is the Rede Elétrica de Serviço Público, the public service electricity grid. This category involves the most rigorous process due to the significant scale and their direct, substantial interaction with the national grid.
Okay. So as a homeowner, the clear takeaway here seems to be that for typical residential setups, the administrative burden is intentionally kept quite low, especially for anything under 30 kilowatts. That definitely makes the prospect less daunting for the average person.
Exactly. The administrative burden is designed to be directly proportional to the scale of your installation. For most residential users, the process is intended to be as smooth as possible, requiring only that simple notification rather than a full-blown, complex licensing application. It really reflects Portugal's commitment to making solar accessible.
Okay, good. So once your system is installed and legal, how does it actually interact with the main electricity grid? What are your options for using the energy you generate?
There are two primary fundamental ways you can use the energy you generate. First, and this is the core concept of self-consumption, you use the energy directly within your own home. This is usually the most financially beneficial way.
Use it yourself first.
Right. Second, if you happen to generate more electricity than you immediately use, which is pretty common on sunny days, you can feed the surplus back into the grid. However, and this is a key legal point under Portuguese law, you must prioritize self-consumption before selling any excess.
Prioritize self-consumption. Okay.
This encourages homeowners to optimize their usage during daylight hours when their panels are most active, essentially getting free electricity for those activities.
So the idea is to maximize what you use yourself first, which saves you buying it, and only sell what's genuinely left over. What kind of earnings can a homeowner realistically expect from selling that surplus energy back to the grid? Is it significant?
The guide states that earnings from surplus energy sold back to the grid typically range between €0.04 and €0.08 kilowatt hour, 4 to 8 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay. That doesn't sound like a huge amount per unit.
Well, while €0.04 to €0.08 per kilowatt hour might sound modest on its own, you need to consider it as a continuous small revenue stream. It effectively reduces your net electricity bill even further, sometimes even turning it into a credit on your bill. It's basically an income stream, however small, that chips away at your overall household expenses, making your property an active contributor to its own financial well-being.
Okay, I see. It adds up over time. But if you have to prioritize self-consumption, how do homeowners practically optimize their usage to get the most out of their system and maximize those benefits?
Yeah.
Are we just talking about, rescheduling laundry, or are there smarter ways to manage this?
That's a really important practical question for homeowners looking to truly maximize their investment. Practically speaking, yes, it can involve consciously rescheduling high-energy consumption activities.
Like the washing machine.
Exactly. Running your washing machine, dishwasher, maybe even charging electric vehicles, doing those during the peak sunshine hours when your panels are producing the most electricity. But beyond just manual adjustments, smart home systems and smart appliances are becoming real game changers here.
Oh, the tech side.
Yes, they can often be programmed to automatically kick in when solar production is at its highest. By doing that, you dramatically reduce the amount of electricity you need to purchase from the grid, which is typically much more expensive than the rate at which you sell your surplus.
Right.
The ideal scenario is really to consume as much of your generated power as possible, directly getting that free electricity for those uses, and then sell off only the remainder for that supplementary income. It's about becoming an active manager of your home's energy flow.
That's a smart strategy, definitely empowering homeowners to take control. Now, let's talk about the bottom line. How much does installing solar panels in Portugal actually cost? This is often the first and most pressing question people have.
It is indeed the crucial question. And it's vital to remember, as the guide clearly states, that all prices listed below are estimates before VAT, value-added tax.
Before VAT. Okay, that's important.
It's a significant point because VAT can add a substantial amount. However, there's a really important and very time-sensitive incentive right now that dramatically alters the immediate financial picture. There's a reduced VAT rate of 6% applies in mainland Portugal until 30 June 2025.
June 2025. Okay, that's coming up.
Yes, and there are slightly different but also reduced rates in the autonomous regions. It's 5% in Madeira and 4% in the Azores, still significantly lower than standard.
So there's a clear and rapidly closing window of opportunity here. What happens after that June 2025 date? Does it just go back to normal?
The guide explicitly highlights that after that, the rate is expected to return to the standard 23%.
23%. Wow.
Yes. This isn't just a slight discount that's expiring. Going from 23% down to 6% until mid-2025 means we're potentially talking about savings of thousands of euros on your total installation cost, depending on the system size.
That's huge.
It's a rapidly closing window that fundamentally alters the immediate financial viability of solar in Portugal right now. It makes it a truly exceptional moment to invest. It really underscores a strong urgency for potential installers to act before mid-2025 to benefit from that significantly reduced VAT rate.
That's a massive difference. Certainly makes the investment more palatable if you can get in before that deadline.
Yeah.
So, okay, what are the estimated costs for different system sizes in 2025, assuming someone does get that reduced VAT.
Right. For a basic system, typically around 3 kilowatt peak, and without a battery, you're looking at an estimated cost of 4,500 euros to 6,000 euros.
Okay.
Then for a medium system, maybe around 5 to 6 kilowatt, and with battery storage included, which is becoming increasingly popular for energy independence, the cost jumps significantly to 8,000 euros to 12,000 euros.
Big jump for the battery.
Yes. And for a high-end system, which might be above 10 kilowatt but incorporates smart features for advanced energy management, the price is typically more than 15,000 euros.
Okay, so let's clarify that term you used, KWP. What exactly does that signify? And why is there such a significant cost jump when you add battery storage or those smart features?
Sure. KWP stands for kilowatt peak. It's basically the horsepower rating of your solar array. It's a measure of the maximum power your solar panel system could generate under ideal standardized test conditions like full sun on a clear, cool day.
Peak potential power.
Exactly. So a 5 kilowatt peak system at its peak could theoretically generate enough power to run quite a few major appliances simultaneously. Now, the significant cost impact of including battery storage is primarily due to the batteries themselves. High-capacity lithium-ion batteries, which are essential for storing excess solar energy to be used at night or during cloudy periods, well, they're still a substantial investment.
Right, the battery tech costs money.
It does. And smart features can refer to advanced monitoring systems, sophisticated energy management software, maybe components that allow for better integration with smart home technologies, or optimization of energy flow between the panels, battery, grid, and your home. All of that adds to the overall system complexity and therefore the cost.
But they enhance the system's usability and independence.
Precisely. These features enhance energy independence and efficiency, but they do come at a premium. They represent an investment that promises not just energy savings, but potentially enhanced property value and significant energy resilience.
So the bigger the system and the more advanced features like batteries and smart tech you add, the higher the price tag. Makes sense. Are there any other extra costs that people might overlook when they're budgeting for solar installation? Things that might get missed in the initial quote?
Yes, there are a few important ones that can definitely add up and are sometimes overlooked in initial estimates. First, there's the potential cost of the grid connection, which the guide estimates at 300, 500 euros if needed. This is essentially the fee for physically connecting your new solar system to the public electricity grid infrastructure.
Oh.
Then you have the smart meter installation by eReads, which, as we mentioned, is the National Electricity Distribution Company. That typically costs 80, 150 euros. This new bidirectional meter is absolutely crucial.
Why crucial?
Because it's what accurately tracks both the electricity you consume from the grid and the surplus you feed back into it. Think of it as your system's financial accountant meticulously tracking every kilowatt hour going in and out. You need it for billing and for selling surplus.
Got it. And the monitoring systems?
Right. For monitoring systems, which often involve internet or GSM cards to track your system's real-time performance via an app or website, you might incur ongoing costs above 50 euros.
So these are necessary components that aren't always explicitly rolled into the initial panel cost quote. Why are they so necessary for a complete and functional solar setup, especially that monitoring system? Is it really essential?
Well, the grid connection and smart meter are pretty much non-negotiable for a grid-tied system. They ensure your system is compliant, safe, and can actually interact with the grid for buying or selling power. The monitoring system, while perhaps seemingly optional to some, is incredibly valuable. I'd argue almost essential for maximizing your investment. Because it allows you to track your system's performance in real time. You can see if it's producing what it should be, identify any potential issues or faults promptly, maybe a panel isn't working right, understand your specific energy consumption patterns, and ultimately ensure you are getting the expected returns. Without it, you're kind of operating in the dark about your system's actual efficiency and how well it's serving your needs day to day.
Okay, that makes sense. When I was working properly. So while the upfront costs can seem substantial, particularly for those larger systems with batteries, the guide paints a clear picture of the long-term financial perspective. It sees it as an investment that truly pays off over time.
It absolutely does. The source concludes that while perhaps pricey up front, the combination of reduced energy costs, government assistance, and increased energy independence eventually yields noticeable benefits. This really positions solar panels as an economically sound long-term investment option. The initial outlay is offset over time by significant ongoing savings on electricity bills, plus the potential for that consistent income stream from selling surplus energy and, of course, the increased market value of your property.
Great.
And all of this is strongly supported by Portugal's remarkably favorable regulatory and incentive environment, especially with that VAT reduction currently in play. It's an investment in your home, your finances, and your future energy security.
That long-term view is critical for any major home investment, especially one with such profound benefits. So, okay, once you've weighed the options, considered the costs, and decided, yes, I'm going solar, what's the actual journey of getting those panels installed? Let's walk through the detailed step-by-step installation process in Portugal.
Right. This section of the guide provides a really clear roadmap. It frames it as a detailed step-by-step guide to efficiently navigate what can sometimes seem like a complex process, breaking it down into a manageable journey.
Okay, step one, assess your energy needs and choose a system. This sounds like the foundational planning stage where you really define your solar dream, so to speak.
It absolutely is, and it's arguably the most crucial step. Before anything else, you really need to evaluate your average energy consumption and roof conditions.
Consumption and roof, got it.
This initial evaluation is foundational because it directly determines the ideal type and size of the system for your specific home and lifestyle. For instance, do you have consistently high energy consumption, maybe due to extensive air conditioning use in Portugal's hot summers? Or do you work from home with high daytime usage? Your roof's orientation towards the sun, any potential shading from trees or nearby buildings, and crucially, its structural integrity to safely support the weight of the panels. These are all key considerations here.
And this is where the specific panel types we discussed earlier come back into play. Right? You tailor the technology to your needs based on this assessment.
Precisely. Based on your comprehensive assessment, you'll choose the most appropriate panel type. For example, if you have limited roof space but high energy demands, then monocrystalline for high efficiency would likely be your top choice. If you're keen on combining electricity generation with your hot water needs, then a hybrid for electricity plus hot water system is the ideal solution. And if you happen to have optimal reflective surfaces around your property, maybe bifacial for increased output could be a very strong contender.
And the battery decision.
Yes, this is also the critical point where you decide whether you need or want battery storage to use energy at night or during outages, which, as we discussed, significantly impacts the upfront cost, but provides much greater energy independence and peace of mind.
Okay, once you have a clearer idea of what you need, system size, panel type, battery or no batteries, step two is getting quotes from certified installers. Why is getting multiple quotes so incredibly important here, beyond just looking for the cheapest price tag?
It's vital to request detailed proposals from at least 2-3 certified installers. And this isn't just about comparing the bottom line price, it's about evaluating the entire package and, really importantly, finding a reputable partner you trust. You need to carefully compare equipment brands, warranties, and expected performance outlined in each proposal.
Different brands, different warranties.
Exactly. A cheaper quote might mean lower quality components, maybe less efficient panels, or a less comprehensive warranty, which could end up costing you more in the long run if things go wrong. You also need to ask a crucial set of questions. Does the company explicitly state they handle the DGEG licensing, that administrative notification we talked about? Do they coordinate directly with eReads, the national grid operator, for the necessary meter replacement? And do they actively assist with incentive applications, such as those from Fundo Ambiental, the environmental fund?
Help with the paperwork.
Yes. Ensuring they handle these bureaucratic and logistical steps can save you an immense amount of time, potential headaches, and possibly money. It's worth confirming upfront.
So finding a reliable, full-service installer who basically acts as your guide through the bureaucracy seems absolutely key. Step 3 then deals directly with those actual licensing and notification requirements we touched on.
This is where understanding that legal framework really pays off for your peace of mind. The guide reiterates that most residential systems under 30 kilowatts fall under Simple's communication previa to the DGEG.
Simple prior communication.
Exactly. This simple prior communication process is, as the name suggests, designed to be straightforward. Just to recap the specific tiers again quickly. Systems A700W, no registration needed. That's thanks to Decreto Ley, Sysname 2022. System 700W and 30 kilowatts submit a prior notification via portal CIRUP, which is Portugal's dedicated, user-friendly online platform for energy installations. And only systems 30 kilowatt require full registration and inspection, involving a higher level of scrutiny for larger projects.
And the installer handles this,
The critical takeaway here is that your installer typically manages this process, taking that administrative burden off your shoulders. But, and this is important, you absolutely must confirm it's included in your quote and contract. This ensures seamless navigation of the bureaucracy.
That's incredibly reassuring, especially for expats. It means you're not left to navigate potentially complex legalities on your own in a new country. Okay, step 4 is the exciting part, installing the actual equipment.
Indeed, this is where your solar dream starts to take physical shape on your roof. Before the actual physical installation begins, it's essential that the installer, and maybe you, ensure your roof structure is sturdy and gets sunlight for most of the day.
Final checks.
Right. This confirms your roof can safely support the weight of the panels and is properly oriented for maximum sun exposure throughout the year. Once all the preparatory checks are done and any necessary notifications are filed, the actual work typically takes 1-2 days depending on the system size.
Only 1 or 2 days, that's quick.
It's a surprisingly quick process for something that will hopefully provide clean energy for decades to come. It really transforms your property into a mini power plant quite rapidly.
Now, here's a crucial interlude question that often comes up and causes confusion. How does a power outage affect the panels? If the grid goes down, will you still have power from your panels?
That's a really important safety and functionality point, and it's definitely a common misconception. The guide clearly states that the majority of solar panel systems in Portugal automatically shut off in the event of a power outage.
They shut off. Why?
It happens for a critical safety reason. It's designed specifically so electricity is not fed back into the grid, potentially harming technicians working on the lines who might be trying to restore power in the area.
Ah, safety for the line workers.
Exactly. It's a vital protective measure called anti-islanding.
Hmm.
It ensures worker safety and prevents your system from creating an unexpected island of power on a grid that's supposed to be dead.
So if the main grid goes down, your house goes dark too, even if the sun is shining brightly on your panels, unless you have a very specific setup. That seems kind of counterintuitive to the idea of energy independence.
Correct. For most standard grid-tied systems without batteries, your house essentially goes off-grid during an outage, but your solar production also goes offline for those safety reasons, unless you have a specific solution designed to maintain power independently. The guide mentions SmartGuard by Huawei as just one example of technology that allows your system to keep running during the power outage.
How'd that work?
These advanced systems usually work in conjunction with battery storage. They essentially create a microgrid within your home that can operate independently, safely isolated from the main grid when the main grid is down. This is precisely why considering battery storage is so crucial if energy continuity during outages is a major priority for you and you want true energy resilience, not just savings.
Okay.
It's the difference between grid-tied self-sufficiency and genuine off-grid independence during an outage.
That's a really vital piece of information that maybe not everyone thinks about up front when planning their installation. So once the physical installation is complete and you've considered your backup power needs, what's step 5?
Step 5 is connecting to the grid and replacing the meter. Once your system is physically installed on your roof, it needs to interact with the public grid. This is for both self-consumption drawing power when your panels aren't producing enough, like at night, and for potentially feeding any surplus energy back into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where e-reads will replace your meter with a bidirectional smart meter.
The smart meter again?
Yes, this new meter is essential because it accurately measures both the electricity you draw from the grid and the electricity you export to it. Critical for accurate billing and for monetizing any surplus you sell. The process for this connection and meter replacement can take 2 to 6 weeks generally, and thankfully, your installer usually handles the request, acting as your liaison with the utility company, eReads.
So your installer really acts as the central point of contact and navigates that critical utility interaction, which again streamlines things immensely for the homeowner. Okay, and step 6 is for people planning to sell that surplus energy back, which sounds like a smart financial move if you can.
This step is specifically if you plan to sell your surplus energy back to the grid. You'll need to register as a microproducer under CAE 35113 on the official government website.
Microproducer, okay.
Essentially, when you sell energy back to the grid in Portugal, you're treated like a very small business producing energy. This formal registration enables you to legally sell your excess power and get paid for it. To complete this registration, you'll need essential documents like your NIF tax number, IBAN for receiving payments, and smart meter data to verify your production volumes.
Right.
This registration allows you to issue recibos verdes, which are official green receipts or invoices, and receive payment from your energy supplier.
Sounds a bit complicated.
It sounds more complicated than it often is. It's typically a streamlined digital process these days, ensuring transparency and that you're properly compensated for your green energy contribution. The guide also notes that most users sell to companies like EDP Commercial at fixed rates, which simplifies the selling part.
Okay, so it's a formal but manageable process to turn your roof into a small green income generator. And finally, step 7, monitoring your system. This feels like a part where you really get to see your investment paying off day by day.
This is definitely where you gain full visibility into your investment and can truly appreciate its performance. Once your system is operational, you'll absolutely want to use an app or web portal to track performance in real time. Most reputable inverter manufacturers, like the examples given Huawei, SMA, or SolarEdge, include these sophisticated monitoring features with their equipment.
What can you see on these apps?
Through these pretty intuitive tools, you can access daily production reports, check your battery status if applicable, see your estimated environmental impact, like the amount of CO2 saved, and even track your estimated return on investment over time. This allows you to truly understand and appreciate the benefits your system is providing, and importantly, ensure you are maximizing its output and that everything is working as it should.
And for anyone feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed by any of these steps, especially the legal bits or just finding the right installer in a new country, it sounds like there are resources available to help simplify the journey.
Absolutely. The guide directly mentions that an organization called Pearls of Portugal can help you from start to finish with these aspects.
Pearls of Portugal, okay.
Yeah. Whether it's navigating the specific legal requirements for becoming a micro producer or finding certified reputable installers who really understand the Portuguese regulations, or even just getting some initial advice tailored to your situation, they offer invaluable assistance. The guide even notes they offer a complimentary consultation, which can be a fantastic way for people to get personalized advice and support for their specific situation, hopefully ensuring a smooth transition to solar energy in Portugal.
That's a fantastic resource to know about for anyone embarking on this journey, especially given the potential nuances of installing abroad. So to kind of bring it all together for our listeners, what's the core takeaway message about installing solar panels in Portugal in 2025?
Well, the overarching message from the source is unequivocally clear. Portugal's favorable solar profile combined with solid policy and finance incentives make it a sound investment in 2025 in the area of solar energy. This isn't just a fleeting trend. It's presented as a strategically supported, economically sensible move that aligns perfectly with a more sustainable future.
So whether your main motivation is purely financial,
Mm-hmm.
looking to drastically reduce those monthly bills, or if you're driven by the desire to significantly increase your home's resale value, or maybe you simply want to embrace a greener, more self-sufficient way of life, solar panels in Portugal genuinely seem to tick all those boxes. It makes it a truly compelling proposition.
They absolutely do. They represent an economically sound long-term investment option that really goes beyond just monetary returns. And what's particularly compelling right now is how accessible the process has become. The guide emphasizes installation has never been easier for both newcomers and residents, thanks to more technical assistance, reduced VAT fees until mid-2025, and fewer bureaucratic UPAC requirements. This really simplifies the transition from just having a vision to seeing it become a tangible reality on your roof.
That combination of natural advantage, all that sunshine, and supportive infrastructure makes it incredibly appealing. It might be, as the guide notes, perhaps pricey up front, especially with batteries. But the combination of reduced energy costs, government assistance, and increased energy independence eventually yields noticeable benefits. It really sounds like an investment that pays you back over time, not just financially, but in terms of invaluable peace of mind, environmental contribution, and enhancing your property.
Indeed. It's about looking beyond that initial cost sticker price to the transformative long-term gains that can unfold year after year.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener. As the world leans more and more into sustainable living and the desire for energy independence grows stronger, what profound impact might embracing solar energy in Portugal have? Not just on your personal finances and your property value, but maybe on your overall sense of connection to a more independent, environmentally conscious, and perhaps empowered way of life. It's a truly powerful thought to consider.
A very powerful thought indeed. It's about becoming part of a positive solution and doing so in a way that truly benefits you personally, your home, and contributes, even in a small way, to the bigger picture.
And that wraps up another deep dive. We sincerely hope this conversation has empowered you with the comprehensive knowledge to understand the incredible opportunities presented by solar energy in Portugal right now. We encourage you to keep exploring new topics, remain curious, and seek out deep dives that continue to empower you with valuable insights. We'll catch you on the next one.